They tried to break you without ever lifting a hand. They didn't need to shout, didn't need to fight. All it took was a glance that said you were nothing. A whisper behind your back. A laugh meant to cut you down. And deep down, they expected you to collapse under the weight of their judgment. But you didn't. You stood tall. You stayed silent. And that silence burned them more than any word ever could. Because the strongest weapon you will ever hold in this life isn't anger. It isn't revenge. It's peace. True destruction doesn't come with chaos. It comes with calm. It's not about tearing someone down with your hands or with insults. It's about outgrowing them so completely that your very existence becomes a mirror they can't stand to look into. The moment you realize your energy is too precious to be wasted on pettiness, something shifts. You stop reacting. You stop defending. You let the noise fade while you rise higher than anyone ever thought you could. That's when they feel it most, not when you fight, but when you refuse to. Let them talk. Let them gossip. Let them throw dirt on your name. Every insult they hurl says more about them than it ever could about you. And when you rise in silence, when you walk in strength without lowering yourself, it unsettles them. It forces them to sit alone with their own insecurities. It forces them to wonder why their attacks never broke you. And in that silence, they begin to hear the echoes of their own disrespect, louder than anything you could have shouted back. You see, silence isn't weakness. Silence is mastery. It's choosing to let your growth do the talking. It's refusing to give someone the satisfaction of seeing you flinch. Because when you stay calm in the middle of their chaos, you take away the script they were counting on. They wanted your anger. They wanted your frustration. They wanted proof that they had power over you. But when you give them nothing, you take everything. You leave them standing on a stage with no audience. And that emptiness cuts deeper than confrontation ever could. People expect noise. They expect drama. That's how they measure impact, through shouting, through fighting, through arguments. But when you give them silence, when you walk away without a word, they don't know what to do with that. It unsettles them. It makes them realize you are no longer within their reach. You're no longer controlled by their opinion. You've outgrown them. And here's the truth, silence is not empty. It's full. Full of discipline. Full of wisdom. Full of strength. Not everyone deserves an explanation. Not everyone has earned the right to hear your voice. Sometimes silence is the strongest boundary you can set. It says, you cannot pull me into your chaos. You cannot drain me. You cannot make me small again. When you argue with someone committed to misunderstanding you, you lose twice. You lose your peace, then you lose your dignity. But when you respond with silence, you win twice. You protect your energy and you rise above their reach. That's real victory, the kind they can't take from you. Silence doesn't mean running away. It means rising higher. It means refusing to be pulled into battles that were never worth fighting. And the higher you climb, the quieter it gets. That silence becomes sacred. It's where you hear your own truth clearly. It's where you meet your highest self, the version of you that doesn't fold under pressure, that doesn't settle for less, that doesn't let someone else's chaos control your destiny. There will always be people who try to provoke you, who poke and prod just to see if they can shake you. They don't do it because they care. They do it because they crave control. But the moment you stop reacting, they lose. They lose their grip. They lose their story. They lose the power they thought they had over you. And that confusion eats at them far longer than any comeback ever could. That's how you destroy someone without ever attacking them. You let their own actions haunt them. You let your silence teach them what words never could. You walk away with dignity while they sit in the shadows, replaying the moment they couldn't break you. That's real revenge, not chaos, not anger. Just growth. Because here's the truth. People loved you when you were small. They clapped when you doubted yourself. They felt big when you stayed quiet. They were comfortable with the version of you who settled, who second-guessed, who played it safe. But the moment you rose above that, The moment you started healing, growing, and speaking with confidence, you made them uncomfortable. Your elevation exposed their stagnation. Your progress revealed their excuses. And your glow reminded them of what they could have been, but chose not to become. That's why support fades when you rise. That's why people distance themselves when you evolve. They're not clapping for you, they're clapping for who you used to be. And when that version disappears, so does their applause. They'll say you've changed as if change wasn't the whole point. They'll say you're distant, arrogant, selfish. But the truth is, you're finally protecting your peace. You're finally walking in your worth. You're finally done shrinking yourself to make others feel tall. And that scares people. Not because you hurt them, but because you stopped needing them. Not everyone is meant to go where you're going. Some people were only meant for the chapter you've already closed. Holding on to them would only hold you back. And that's not a loss, it's alignment. So let them talk. Let them misunderstand you. Let them say you're cold. You don't need to explain yourself anymore. Because peace doesn't require permission. It requires protection. And when you start guarding your peace like treasure, you stop picking up every call. You stop responding to every insult. You stop explaining yourself to people committed to confusion. Every no you say to the wrong people is a yes to your own healing. Every boundary you set builds the foundation of your peace. And that peace, it's not weakness. It's the most dangerous power you can hold. Because nothing rattles people more than seeing you calm, focused, and unbothered while they throw stones that never reach you. Protect your peace like it's gold. Because it is. It's what keeps your spirit alive in a world desperate to drain it. And when people realize they no longer have access to you, they feel it. They feel the distance. They feel the loss. And no insult you could have thrown would have cut deeper than that. That's how you win. Quietly. Powerfully. Without ever lowering yourself to their level. Because one day, while they're still talking about you, you'll be building something so undeniable that the world will have no choice but to see. Results don't need defending. Success doesn't need explanation. Peace doesn't need validation. It simply speaks for itself. So let them whisper. Let them plot. Let them laugh. None of it matters. Because you're not in the business of fighting anymore. You're in the business of building. And that silence, that discipline, that peace, that's how you become untouchable. That's how you destroy anyone without ever having to attack them.